Today I'm comparing the iPhone 14 Pro to the brand new iPhone 16. I'll break down design, specs, features, user experience, and share which one I'd choose today. Hey everyone, it's Andrew and welcome back to the channel. The iPhone 16 is the most Pro-like feeling the regular iPhone has ever had. So far, I've been extremely impressed with the iPhone 16. And while the iPhone 14 Pro, even today, is still a really good phone, my experience with it overall was very disappointing. It's been the worst of all the Pro models that I've ever used. But I'll get to more of that at the end of this video. And now I just want to compare them, stack them up against each other, and honestly talk about which one is the better value. This video is sponsored by Anchor, but more about them later. Let's get right into it, starting with the design. Both iPhones are very similar in size. The 14 Pro is 147.5 millimeters tall, 71.5 millimeters wide, and 7.85 millimeters thick. The iPhone 16 is almost identical at 147.6 millimeters tall, 71.6 millimeters wide, and 7.8 millimeters thick. Almost can't even tell. The main difference though is the weight. The 14 Pro uses a stainless steel frame that is quite beautiful and a textured matte glass that also is really nice to the touch, weighing at 206 grams, while the 16 has an aluminum frame, a little less durable but still lovely to look at, and it has a glossy glass back, making it a lighter iPhone at 170 grams. The 14 Pro keeps the classic mute switch, lightning port, and it has in the US an eSIM, so there's no SIM tray. Meanwhile, the iPhone 16 replaces the mute switch with a customizable action button. It has USB-C for charging. There's no SIM tray as well. And you also have the camera capture. Both designs are great. The lighter iPhone 16 feels more comfortable for daily use. And I really like the bold colors of the 16 series. I have it in teal, and it might be my favorite color on an iPhone really ever. Space Black is a close competitor, and both phones just look gorgeous. The displays are also very similar at first glance. Both phones feature a 6.1 Super Retina XDR display, both have dynamic island, and identical brightness levels, 1000 nits max brightness and 2000 nits peak outdoors. The biggest difference though comes down to the 14 Pro having ProMotion and an always-on display, while the iPhone 16 has a 60 Hz refresh rate screen and no always-on display. I've noticed that if I use the iPhone 16 for a few minutes, I get used to it and kind of forget how good ProMotion is, but whenever I do switch back to the iPhone 14 Pro, you can notice it right away. It's just a better experience. Don't get me wrong, the 16's display is actually really good, but that cap of 60 Hz is still annoying, and for an $800 phone, I do really wish that Apple would at least bump it up to 90 Hz, although it really should be 120. There's a next generation of ceramic shield on the iPhone 16. I actually dropped it really hard on my hardwood floors, thought I shattered it, and it's just minor scratches. Battery has been a huge surprise for me in my experience with both phones. The spec sheet claims 23 hours of video playback for the iPhone 14 Pro and 22 hours of video playback with the iPhone 16, so battery life should be pretty comparable. But from my experience, and it could have just been the phone that I had, the iPhone 14 Pro has been one of the worst experiences that I've ever had on an iPhone. Like, the battery was so bad, I was getting to midday needing to charge my phone because I was already at 15 to 20%. Like in the middle of the day, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. It's just not acceptable for a Pro phone. That really surprised me how bad it was. And it kind of surprises me how good the iPhone 16 battery is. I've gotten to up to 6+ hours a day with screen active time. I'd say the iPhone 16 has been consistently reliable, whereas the iPhone 14 Pro for me just wasn't reliable. The 16 also supports 25 watts MagSafe charging with a 30 watt adapter compared to the 14 Pro's 15 watt limit. And speaking of battery and charging, a good charger is essential to owning an iPhone. And I want to thank Anchor for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Meet the Anker MagGo wireless charging stand, a sleek, minimal, Apple-inspired aesthetic that's perfect for anywhere around the house. It's a Qi2 certified wireless charger that supports 15 watts fast charging via MagSafe. The Anker MagGo wireless charger is 2 times faster than other normal 7.5 watt wireless chargers. You can charge an iPhone 16 Pro, or like me, I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max, to 100% in just 1 hour and 53 minutes using this charger, compared to 2 hours and 4 minutes using the latest 25 watt wireless charger. The stand is also really sick. It can rotate 360 degrees and it adjusts up to 70 degrees, giving you the perfect viewing angle. If your iPhone has an always-on display, it's amazing for standby mode. Plus, you can charge your AirPods if it has a MagSafe charging case. It's compatible with all iPhones going all the way back to the iPhone 12 series. Check it out in the pinned comment and in the link in my bio. You won't regret it. Alright, on to performance. And for performance, the iPhone 14 Pro has the A16 Bionic chip, while the iPhone 16 has the A18 chip. From a CPU and GPU perspective, they're pretty much identical and really perform about the same when it comes to daily tasks like using iOS apps, YouTube, and other social media apps. It's pretty normal, and the average user is going to find both of them work just as expected. The key difference with the A18 chip is that with the iPhone 16, it offers Apple Intelligence. You can use Apple's AI tools for writing and using Siri that should be much improved as the years go on. And so with the A18 chip, you're kind of future-proofing yourself to get the latest that Apple Intelligence has to offer. Now, what you could do if you want to upgrade to the iPhone 14 Pro or just keep the 14 Pro and not upgrade, just download the ChatGPT app, and there you go. You have the best AI app in the world. And that's what Apple Intelligence is going to be using a lot of anyways, so it's not necessarily needed to upgrade. All right, on to one of my most favorite things to talk about when it comes to comparing iPhones is camera and video. The iPhone 16's camera is actually pretty impressive this year, and it's nearly a pro level camera. It features a 48 megapixel main camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and you can shoot at 0.5x, 1x, and 2x. It also supports spatial photos and videos for Vision Pro, and you can use next gen portrait mode. The 14 Pro's camera is still more advanced than the 16. You get a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens. And you also get an added 3x optical zoom, which that's what I prefer and really like. It also supports Apple Pro RAW for photography and ProRes video recording up to 4K at 30 FPS, which is great for creators like myself. And literally all my photography I try to take in Apple Pro RAW. If you don't need 3x optical zoom, ProRes, or Apple Pro RAW, then the camera is pretty much the exact same. Some notable similarities: both phones offer the same safety features, emergency SOS, crash detection, roadside assistance, and messages via satellite. They both support 5G, obviously. They both have water resistance up to 6 meters. And it's kind of obvious too, but both are MagSafe compatible. Storage starts at 128 gigabytes, leading all the way up to 1 terabyte for the iPhone 14 Pro. And unfortunately, for some reason, that terabyte option is not available for the 16, so it's 128 all the way up to 512. My experience with both of these phones honestly were polar opposite. The 14 Pro, while I was expecting it to be one of the best iPhones that I've ever had, the battery really left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I just don't have a good experience to remember with the 14 Pro. And it's unfortunate because it does have a really good display, a really good camera, but the battery life just wasn't it for me. And with the 16, it's not a Pro model. It doesn't have Apple Pro RAW. It's not the best display. I was pleasantly surprised with my user experience and how much I really enjoyed using the phone. The teal color, for whatever reason, has really gone a long way with me. 60 Hertz really isn't all that bad, and I just really like how light this phone is, how it feels in hand. The size, I've been using the Pro Max for a couple years, so kind of downgrading the size was nice as well. My expectations were very high of the 14 Pro and were disappointed, and my expectations of the iPhone 16 were very low, and I've actually really enjoyed it. Now, for today, in which iPhone I would pick, price becomes a huge factor. The iPhone 16 starts at $799, and that's pretty expensive. You can find the iPhone 14 Pro for a little under $500 on Amazon today. So for $300 less, when you really consider the price and how the iPhone 14 Pro is literally either the same or better in every category, kind of going away from my user experience because I might have had a bad phone, the 14 Pro is the better option, and if I had to choose, I'd still probably go with the 14 Pro, although, and strangely enough, the teal color is what kind of keeps calling me to choose the iPhone 16. The 14 Pro offers better value with the Pro features like Pro Motion, always on display, and the additional camera capabilities are great. Let me know in the comments which one you would pick. Is it the iPhone 14 Pro or the iPhone 16? Also, if you have either one, let us know your experience with those devices. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless, and I will see you on the next video.